Okay, guys, welcome back to Reality Files, if you're watching it there. Me and Thyalwaysseek, fantastic YouTube channel, we're about to dive into it
in Egypt and other keys.
Mess some things up. Just gonna dive in deep into some esoteric truth and really science of yourself, the energy body, and a lot of other things. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and you're not always going to find these videos on Reality Files. If you're into these mysteries, go check out Immortal Truth. It's more for the initiates, but let's dive in.
Such as the tarot, sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence, alchemy, Hermetic. With new knowledge sourced from ancient Egypt and other keys such as the tarot, sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence, alchemy, Hermetics, mythology, and biblical scripture, we can now begin to put these fragments of knowledge and symbolism together and finally have an understanding of what has been hidden from us. With this understanding, we can unlock what was left to us by our very knowledgeable and wise forefathers. Unfortunately, this truth of our divinity was taken from us with violence and torture and hoarded in the strongholds of the Antichrist establishment, otherwise known as the Vatican. But don't be naive in thinking this information would also not be known by the Freemasons and the elite families and royalty. They took this knowledge for themselves and sold us a lie of death and hell.
The Pharisees stole the keys and hid them. That's what Jesus said. They I don't know, it was like they locked themselves in the house with the animals or the beasts, like the pigs and shit. And forgot, I don't know, it was hilarious. But
Crusades were nothing more than an excuse to pillage and plunder all civilizations of this knowledge, so it could be kept for themselves at the expense of
raped and pillaged and burned every single individual that had any knowledge. Think about it. Any heretic, anybody practicing the arts, they'd just be called out. Anybody deemed crazy, and all wise men are crazy.
The masses, who they enslaved into bondage to serve only them. They murdered almost 1 million Cathars and stole all their scriptures and most sacred holy texts. They called them heretics and sentenced them to the most painful deaths. Now all we have left are remnants of these ancient texts that survived destruction. The rest was stolen by the Antichrist Catholics to be put together in a twisted version of scripture.
Okay, all you Bible readers, all those religious Christians out there, you think you're going to be saved by calling on Jesus? There's 2.89 billion worshippers of Jesus. 2.89 billion. I just can't get my head around like why people can't see that. Obviously, everything taught in the Bible says all of those people have to be in the wrong, because like very few are like, I don't know, it's just funny. And if you actually listen to the words that Jesus says, all of his followers do the exact opposite. It's hilarious because they don't follow him, they follow the church. They don't follow the truth. They follow what they've been told,
which they then used to lull the herd into a false belief of themselves and the reality in which they exist. Their agenda is to keep us in bondage to the physical plane, so we cannot move into our ethereal body, and they do this by giving us a perception of limit and lack about ourselves. We are told that we are beings that are finite and that we will die, and we either go to heaven if we are on our knees to them, or we go to hell to burn in eternity. However, worse still, some have now gone down the even more foolish path of thinking there is no higher God consciousness and they are not accountable for anything they do. The truth is, we are all immortal, but as with everything, it comes at a price. We must be worthy of that immortality. And
you think you can be begotten? You think you could walk amongst the gods, the divine beings? Unless you start acting like a divine being. My friends, you're only... you ascend towards your affinity, what you're most like. I don't know, that's just one thing. You gotta act like you gotta walk the walk before you accept. I don't know. That's just one thing about moving up. It's holistic. It's in all aspects. You know what I mean?
we have accountability for our gift of life, as that is how the universe sees our expression of.
God has his responsibilities. We have ours. I think you're supposed to call upon him every single time you go to the fields to work. That was written in an ancient text. I thought that was quite something.
Soul. The truth is, we really do need to be a good soul and have lived an honest life with good intent towards all fellow man and creatures.
When your heart is weighed on the scales of Mat, in the underworld, the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead in ancient Egypt is actually the book of awakening the divine within. It's the book of the crucifixion of yourself. The Book of the Dead is the book, it's describing basically the taking of the Ankh, or the second breath of life. Or, yeah, but it's just kind of funny.
Then your immortality will be assured. For those
Also, the Book of the Dead is not for when you, like, this idea of death that is propagated out here. It's about dying consciously. Dying while you're alive. It's about the twice born, the rebirth, the second birth, right? The spiritual incarnate, the Ark of the Covenant. You see what I'm saying? The Ark of the Covenant, the Ankh, the Zohar, the radiance born from without. All of those words are describing the blending of the ether in you as described in the Emerald Tablets, right? It's a unification of you and God, the two and the one. You and the Father and the Father and you. Going deep right there, but yeah. To be elaborated upon.
Those that view this as acts of a vengeful God do not understand the laws of nature, because for nature to continue to expand and thrive in perfection, only the best will ever remain in existence. It is just the law of the universe and nothing personal, and we see it play out around us in the physical environment every day in nature. This is also the same for souls and our consciousness. We have to understand that everything always plays out on multiple levels, and our souls are subject to the same laws as all existence. In Hermetics, these different levels are described as the three great planes. They are the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. They are not so much even to be seen as distinctly separate either. They more or less merge into each other, but it is basically helpful to view reality as being layered and always playing out on these different levels in the macrocosm and in the microcosm. But this understanding of accountability is nothing new, for we see this also in the ancient Egyptian weighing of the heart ceremony, where the heart...
I haven't watched these in months and months, but she is so damn good. She put so much time into this series. It's crazy. All the images and, like, the linking together of cross-culturally and, like, seeing through this. Like, this is what I do. And she has been an amazing help, just, like, putting things together. Because I go more based off of, like, I read the text and look at the things and relate it instantly to, like, blueprints that, like, I continue to evolve in my mind of, like, the ethereal nature of things, like the mystery of the ether, how that flows through you, how you interact with this, like, and the spiritual and the mental and all these different layers coming down, and like how that in one permeating field is acting like as like that's who you are. This whole series is the science of who and what you are, right? The full esoteric and occult anatomy of thyself, right? Because when you know thyself, but when you truly know yourself and how you interact with the greater web of things, right? Like that is the union. But this is the science of it. It goes really deep. This is getting way deeper than a lot of people are ready to go. And that's why most of these kind of videos will be in Immortal Truth or found on my Patreon or in packages later. But let's just continue on, because this whole journey, this whole idea and teaching, it goes deep and far. So there's a lot to kind of take in.
What is weighed against the feather of truth? The feather actually represents Orion and the God light that illuminates the hearts of men. It is no coincidence that we hear...
This is the weighing of the heart ceremony right here. Your heart weighed against a feather on the scales of Mott, and what those symbols are and what it means for this life right here, right? Living without regrets, living by the heart, where the etheric like self comes through.
This judgment theme repeated across culture. This is because indeed we experience a cosmic event in which our reality is shifted and we are judged. Once a soul is judged worthy of being bestowed with highest consciousness, they are rewarded with immortality on a newly rebirthed earth at the height of consciousness to complete this infinite cycle.
This whole belief and kind of like ideology that she's talking about right here, I believe and like support a lot of it. Not I wouldn't use all the words she's using, but I really do think a massive shift is happening in our lifetimes, in this generation. I really do. The truth has been revealed at the end of the latter days, my friends. Those days they're talking about right now. I'm going to break down a whole bunch of prophecy. I'm about to dive in. But, yeah, like the Dead Sea Scrolls were found like 50 years ago. The Nag Hammadi Gnostic scriptures in 1945 during World War II. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The Emerald Tablet of Hermes. Right? Like all the ancient texts from all the different cultures, right? And all the lost ones even. The very hidden, mysterious things. They're all put online, right? All the information's out there, my friends. All the truth has been revealed. It has yet to be put together. Remember what she's saying at the beginning of this? What we're talking about? Guys, the truth, the ancient knowledge books. You know how hard it was to get your hands on a book back in the day? Think about this level of wisdom. Like, this level of wisdom that existed, like, 6,000 years ago, right? This level of knowledge. Like, literally the, like, incarnate, like, this, like, the highest levels of being, like, deification. 6,000 years ago, that kind of knowledge, it was lost. It was pillaged. It was burned and kept a secret. You couldn't even get your hands on a book. Right? But now it's all back out there again, but no one is putting it together, or very few are, right? And as more people do this, and evolves and it grows, because, my friends, all shall be revealed. For those with eyes to see and ears to hear, hear the mysteries. Research the mysteries of Jesus, his secret teachings, right? In his Essene sect, the secret sect, the Essene Gospels of Peace, my friends, the Colburn Bible and the teachings within by Jesus. The Colburn Bible is epic in general. In the Nag Hammadi scriptures, which were probably written before the Gospels. So, yeah.
Of the soul.
So there is a shift going down, my friends. There is a shift. And it's coming soon. And this kind of idea that I'm going to be teaching throughout this series as we get more into the anatomy and the of self and the energy work, because it all happens together, right? This energy work, this changing your frequency, as you become more aware of it and stuff, and purifying. You need to purify. You need to purify because there's going to be waves of basically the cycle that Earth is in. Things are going to be heating up on the energetic, on the etheric level, okay? You've probably been hearing about all these waves coming in from all the light workers out here. But like, there is going to come a time in the future that massive waves are hitting us on energetic levels, and it's like literally burning people, right? Just like when you walk out in the sun burns you. You get sunburnt if you have a lot of toxins and shit inside of you, right? But if you don't, the sun doesn't burn you. You in fact light up with it. The sun is burning away everything that's not you. You have to give birth to yourself here. You have to spiritualize and crystalline the body by integrating the energies, right? Being baptized by the ether. To be baptized by the ether. To drink the nectar from the spine, right? And all this shit right here. This is how you can actually transmute these energies coming in and use them to rise to the next level in consciousness. Okay, no one else is going to tell you this. Nobody else knows this. This is like, I'm a messenger for that kind to tell you that right now. Okay? You need to prepare yourself for these waves that are coming. Because you can use them to ride a ship to the highest levels, my friends. Or the world's gonna change more in our lifetime than it has ever changed in the course of human history. Period. Or perhaps way, I can't say that for sure. I have no idea how long human history has been. But in the past, in what we see, like the common taught, the 10,000 years, right? It's going to shift 10 times anything before in our lifetimes. And very few, only the wise ones are going to see this coming.
Once again, this is why all these great civilizations, such as ancient Egypt, Sumeria, Angkor Wat, ancient Greece, the Aztecs and Mayans, all sprung up from nowhere. And for those that think such a shift in reality would not be possible, even your own scientists have discovered this truth in quantum physics, though Hermetics knew of this law thousands of years ago, and it is...
If you read the Kabbalah, actually, it's so funny. Like the law of vibration, right? For instance, and the laws of cause and effect. These are so much older than the science behind it, and all these people who claim to have the idea. The law of gender from the Kabbalah, the law of gender and mental gender. All these scientists that have written all these books and have these theories about the subconscious mind and the different aspects of psychology. All of psychology was already mastered in a few principles taught in the Kabbalah like 6,000 years ago. Like the laws of gender, the yin and the yang of mind, right? And how that works. Like the Kabbalah is the science of self. If you have the science of self, you understand how the mind works, how the soul operates, how the soul and the ether and the body and the mind all interact in this triple layered field we exist in, right? Like, the Kabbalah is all that, and this is an essential read.
Called the law of vibration, and is one of the 7 Hermetic principles of the universe, but we will talk more about this later. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is incorrect. We live in cycles within cycles, and all exist in rhythms of higher and lower, in and out, just like the tide. So we can understand this also happens within the consciousness of the collective souls. We can also see this explained in the Hermetic principle of rhythm. This cycle happens infinitely. There is no starting point that we expand only forward from, as in Darwin's theory. Each and every soul exists at 0 point, with the universe extending out from them in both the macrocosm and the microcosm.
This is why I go so deep into the ideas of entropy and negentropy, my friends. Are you a creator or a destroyer? Right? Are you living for death or are you living for life? Life being that which comes from within. Death being that which comes from outside of yourself. What are you consuming? That's one way of thinking about it. I know I'm going to get I always get a lot of, that triggers a lot of people, but think about that.
What Darwin's theory actually did was keep us bound to the physical plane once again. And once again, this is due to an agenda they have to keep us seeing reality in a certain perspective. However, this is part of a cycle we go through in our descent of consciousness. We begin the cycle in Zep Tepi, as the ancient Egyptians called it, which translates to first time, at the height of consciousness, as all the great civilizations around our planet did, only to descend once again into a time when humanity forgets its divinity and becomes broken and corrupt, full of empty souls who have forgotten who they are. This is the time we now live in.
Go look up the Hopi prophecy. I'm going to make videos on all the culture's prophecies. Go look up the Hopi prophecy. Then look up the the Mayan, the fifth world or the fifth era prophecy, right? You can look up the prophecies even from ancient Egypt, but those are harder to find within the Book of the Dead. But every culture's prophecies. And then look out here. Really look out here. I'm going to start bringing you guys the ancient books. I'm going to make a series called Gems of the Ancient Wisdom. Because I just feel like people need to be broken to this kind of knowledge and they would just go off with it. But they don't know really where to start. And it's pretty intimidating to just start reading these ancient books. Like, who the fuck would do that, right? Until you start finding these keys. And they're so interesting, so fascinating, so mind shifting, right? And just this wisdom that you start to just kind of it starts to make your eye see right, my friends. The ancient books, there's a reason to read the ancient books. But that's just a little bit on prophecy and wisdom.
But soon we are about to begin that new cycle once again. The Maya actually were right, but just got the timing a bit off. But that is to be expected when you are orally handing down information over thousands and thousands.
They didn't get the timing off. The Mayan prophecy was dead on. The prophecies for 2020, my friends. The Gregorian calendar, this program inserted by the establishment, right? They fucked the timing. They fucked up the calendar, my friends. There's a reason the calendar was so sacred back in the day, my friends. In the Essene sect at Qumran, the Dead Sea Scrolls, timekeeping was one of the highest responsibilities. Same in ancient Egypt. Timekeeping and the stars were of the utmost priority. Why the fuck do you think all of the pyramids of every culture, right, were all revolved around the stars? Why do you think that obelisks and timekeeping devices like that and sundials and all these observation things? Think about what was in Peru, the I can't think of the name right now, but the main Incan temple, the main Incan, all of it was to observe the stars, timekeeping, calendars, right? All of that was responsibilities of the priesthood. The priesthood, because the stars and that story going on up there, and the time and all the stuff, timing is very important. Timing is very important, and the gods walked at the right time, right? You should read what Hermes has to say in the Hermetica about what a divine king acts like. When the gods play music, he plays music. When the gods are dancing, he is dancing. Because at every moment, my friends, there's a different energetic field around you. But you are separated from that. The ether's not pumping through you. Right? But when it does, you dance with it. If that makes sense. But you still have free will and all these things like that. Don't get disturbed. But, yeah. I just went deep for a second.
Thousands of years. But the Maya knew it was about the sun changing and the Hopi mythology also says this. And we must also remember, when we are so focused on times and dates, that the Maya and Scripture say the exact time will not be known. Even so, the new energies are streaming in, and all but the unconscious can feel them. And no, they are intensifying. Mother Earth is also reacting to this new energy. Her grids are firing up again as she adjusts and readies herself. She is also giving us clear messages to pay attention to our surroundings and our environment. We can only trust our instincts in these times. This new cycle began last year on the transit of Venus. We even saw the Queen take full advantage of this new energy, holding her 60th Jubilee right on the beginning of the transit. During that transit, Venus gave birth to a new cycle on the Sun, and it is important to
look at the crazy events going on lately, my friends, around the Earth, but more in the sky too, but around the Earth as well. Like the recent summer solstice on August 21st, the double full moons in January, the lunar solstice, and just eclipses and where those were, the significance of it. Look at all like the heat things going on, the earthquakes and all the shit. Like it's insane the amount of spike, how unnatural, not normal this is, right? Going on right now. Obviously a change is happening. Think. Use your brain.
note that Venus is also the timekeeper for the Maya, and they watch the movement of Venus intently. So this last transit of a 26,000-year precessional cycle is very important. If we look to mythology, we can equate this event to Isis giving birth to Horus, or the Virgin Mary giving birth to Jesus. The new sun Horus was birthed on the Venus transit last year, and so began a battle between Horus, the new cycle on the sun, and the old and corrupted sun Seth that oversaw a corrupted and broken civilization.
It's funny because a lot of the prophecies talk about the sun rising from the opposite direction on like the Day of Atonement, or like the day of change. The sun rising from the opposite direction, from the west to east. When you see the sun rise to the west to the east, know that the change has already happened. That I'm pretty sure that it talks about there with Muhammad and the Quran. It talks about that in the Bible, I know for a fact. It talks about in the Cobran Bible with Nemesis, the whole Planet X thing. It also talks about that in the ancient Egyptian mythology stuff there.
As told in the ancient Egyptian mythology.
Oh, dang,
and the
nailed
ancient
it.
Egyptian mythology tells of the battle ending with Osiris rewarding Horus as the victor.
And guys, I haven't watched these videos in like a year. It's funny because I just went back and watched one of these again. I'm like, damn. I need to make just voiceovers because I've been putting together this same information, but attributing it to energy work and stuff, and my own spin on it, my own kind of lens. But very similar. But she does such a good job in presenting it like shit. I would have trouble topping this, but the knowledge I have to add on top of it is my value. You know what I mean? You use a knife because it has a sharp edge, not because it has a glittery handle. So I'm just trying to add my value in the simplest way, and she fucking killed it with these videos. So I just damn, synchronicity hit, and now I'm making videos like this.
This is symbolic of the new light of Orion being transmuted through the new young sun Horus, also symbolic of baby Jesus. However, we have to understand that Jesus and Christ have multiple layers symbolically, and it is the Christ light that returns to the divine male twin soul that gives the name Jesus and Christ a connection with the Son. This is why we see such reverence for the Son of God, because it is the Christ light that illuminates within the divine male, who is the Ark of the Covenant. The Lamb of God is God returning a part of himself to the divine male soul. The divine female twin...
My friends, if you're watching this, you're a divine soul. You have this potential. This is the secret, my friends. This is the secret of the ages. That's why this shit ain't for everybody. But this is the secret. This is why this stuff's important. This is why wisdom and knowledge is important. This is why I always seek. I always seek. Right? That's why I'm always putting together this kind of stuff. And when you put your mind into the mysteries like this, these ideas, reading the ancient books, right? Seeing life through a lens, and always questioning and upgrading that lens. Why I do this? It's because I see the effects on my life, but I see the amount, it just, obviously, it is wisdom. So, there's a reason. A lot of people just don't get why I seek so much knowledge. I'm always learning, I'm always philosophizing, I'm always on that page. Mind is the essence of life, my friends. It's what fuels me. It's what I feed off of. But dive in.
Soul is the embodiment of the moon, and she is more connected to the ethereal. She is represented by Isis, but Isis also has aspects of Venus, especially when Horus is connected with her. The divine female soul is the Holy Grail, and she receives her knowledge directly from God. The scriptures and mythology are all telling the same story, and that it is both the divine male and female twin souls that must bring forth divine knowledge together. This is because this knowledge originates in the ethereal realm of the divine, and as such, males and females are equal in both skills and intellect. So it is clear now why we are seeing biblical events unfolding around the planet and intense cosmic and celestial changes upon us. That light from Orion is returning to illuminate us once again, so we can once again access divine knowledge in a time of higher consciousness. We see this returning consciousness also present in the awakening we are experiencing as a collective. Even though the numbers are not large, there is a definite expansion happening nevertheless.
My friends, ride the wave. Don't just ride the wave in appearances, ride the wave. The wave of consciousness, the waves of energy coming in right now. They're gonna bring a few up. A few who can transmute and adapt and see to that level. The few who can ride the wave up, literally, in the energetic level, ride the wave up. The only way to ride the wave up is to align with nature. Align with nature and the truth of who you are. The only way to ride that wave up is to purify the body by aligning with nature physically. Getting out in nature, getting sunlight, right? Fasting. But also, very importantly, aligning the mind with nature. Aligning the mind with truth. Aligning the mind with God. Wisdom, as Manly P. Hall puts it, is not thinking of nature, and wisdom is not thinking of God. Wisdom is thinking with God. Wisdom is living as the truth. So, align your mind with nature. And also, the highest level, align... Okay, there's actually two more levels. But align the ether, your energetic body, your aura. Right? I'm about to dive so deep and give you blueprints like nobody else. Because this is like my main area of information. Because I do so much energy work. Right? It's a constant thing for me. It seems to happen a little differently for me than like other people, but these ancient drawings, these ancient symbols and all the systems, right? When I work with it, like I feel it. I know why they created the symbol, right? Because I feel it, see it, and experience it, and I would create that symbol. right? So it's like those people back in the day created these symbols of what they could experience and feel, and this was Gnosis. This was wisdom, right? And then as consciousness descended, now you got all these practitioners and all these like teachers in like the healing, like Reiki and all these different like homeopathic arts. Like they know where to place the needles, right? They looked at the charts and know where to place the needles. The Reiki practitioners, they got some symbols, and like the people who play with the chakras and whatnot. Oh, it's the base chakra, and then you got this and they talk about like, oh, it's your money chakra, it's wealth, it's your social, it's your relation. It's all, they always speak about it externally and shit. No, it's actually a feeling, and you must learn how to manipulate the etheric fields with your mind. You must learn how to channel and flow ether through you to reawaken and reactivate the body, right? If you can move the subtle energy through the body, you can realign it with your solar blueprint, okay? So you can heal the whole body, but what I'm saying here is align your spirit, your mind, and your physical body with nature and God, with the energy going on around you, right? And transmute that so you ride the wave up with it. Or else this wave's just going to crush you. I bet you've been noticing a lot of problems lately within the people like you love and your friends and shit. Older people probably getting sick, looking very tired and old faster. You're going to notice chemtrails and more poison and toxins and more bullshit on the media, more lies from the establishment, more like the rate of enslavement is spectacular. The rate of zombification is immense. But also the rate in the opposite direction for the few birds who can fly that fast. If you know what I'm saying. And like, yo, if you are just reacting at everything I'm saying right now and hating my words, get the fuck out of here. But if you can hear me and like you can kind of resonate with this, stay tuned, my friends. I'm not trying to be cocky nor egoic, nor saying I'm better than anybody. All I'm claiming is that I'm a messenger for a certain message, and you can listen or not. Like, who the fuck am I though? I'm just a guy with a phone like anybody else who can speak about crazy shit.
Each soul is remembering their divinity by order of their birthing onto the physical plane. This, as with everything in the universe, is done following the Fibonacci sequence. The first souls that are birthed through are called divine, as they hold the strongest memory of their divinity and the divine knowledge within them. But with each subsequent soul that births through, this memory is diluted to finally, when we have an imbalance of souls populating this planet, we get the majority with very little memory of who they really are. With this
until the phoenix once again rises. Phoenix rising out here.
expansion of consciousness,
as in all of us, my friends. This shit is going down fast, I feel like.
Returning. What we are seeing, in fact, is us remembering the truth of our divinity that was once lost to us. We are beginning to remember who we are and the truth of our existence. In the following videos, we will use this uncovered knowledge and the other keys available to us, as well as numerology and symbols, to reveal what has been hidden about our true divinity and what information can be revealed amongst all the symbolism in religious art, alchemical and hermetic drawings, and even authentic crop circles. What they are hiding from us is that we are birthed as souls that split into male and female upon manifestation from God's consciousness onto the material realm. We are all immortal twin souls that were birthed onto this physical.
It's so funny. I'm just thinking about ancient Egypt and like their teachings. The Muggles, or they call them like the Gulads or the Gulan or whatever, like the masses had the exoteric teaching. They had the mythology, right? This theatrics with a dance of gods and men. But the initiated, and this was not to like keep the knowledge from the people. Very few could be initiated, like wrap their mind around this stuff and have the mind for philosophy and the esoteric sciences, and like also be able to handle earth in that as well. But even fewer were initiated just because of how south this could go, right? You're getting into the spiritual arts, my friends. This ain't a game. But just the chances of, I don't know, just like not everyone's cut out for it, I guess saying. But then again, this time, this era right now, there's a new birth of souls, if you know what I mean. So yeah, this ancient wisdom that's always been hidden for all of the ages, we about to reveal that shit. Or I'll do my best as I can. So I'm really tired right now, but it's inspired to do this shit.
Realm from the consciousness of our God located in the Orion Nebula. Our God consciousness is known by many.
Yo, go look into Danny Wilton. On the Orion Nebula. He'll blow your fucking mind.
Names: Osiris, Odin, Vishnu, God, and more. But every ancient civilization around the world knew the importance of the Orion Nebula and our God, for he shapes our reality. This is where a solid understanding of Hermetics is required if you are to fully fathom this information. If we go back to where I mentioned
Hermetics. You need the Hermetic sciences, my friends, because it is the foundation. You need Hermetics. It is one of the cultures that is a must. Like Taoism, strong, definitely look into. That the whole